That night, Sophia quietly brought a glass of warm milk to her Uncle Herbert's room. He was half reclined on the bed, his hands restlessly shifting beneath the covers. In a low, sultry voice, he murmured toward the darkness, "Baby, come help me." Sophia froze, her cheeks instantly flushing red. But still, she walked forward slowly and gently placed the cup on the bedside table. Just as she reached out to help him, Herbert suddenly stiffened. His hand pushed her away, his brows knitted tightly. "You're not her. Her body isn't like this." Sophia sat frozen on the edge of the bed, stunned. "Uncle, didn't you just ask me to help you?" At that, Herbert shoved her off the bed with force. "Sophia, who told you to come in? Get out." Bandages still wrapped around his eyes, Herbert fumbled to his feet, stumbling as he tried to usher her out. "Go call Kelsey, now." In that moment, everything became clear to Sophia. The person who had been sneaking into Herbert's room every night was the university nurse, Kelsey Davis. Standing outside the door, Sophia clenched her fists until the veins on the back of her hand bulged. From behind the closed door, she heard the sound of moans intimate, shameless. Tears welled in her eyes, and in that instant, something inside her broke. She vowed never to love Herbert again. She would change herself completely until the day he could no longer recognize her. 10 days later, she stood by his bedside one last time, watching him sleep. Then, without a word, she boarded a flight to Germany. Sophia's feelings for Herbert were no secret, everyone knew, except Herbert himself. But after that night, everything was out in the open. His relationship with Kelsey became undeniable. Whenever desire struck, it was Kelsey he sought, not just as a caregiver, but as a woman. Though Herbert realized his mistake in time that night, he remained furious. The next morning, with Kelsey supporting him, he descended the stairs. Before the gathered nannies and housekeepers, his face was grim. "Sophia," he said coldly, "you've crossed the line. You knew I was your uncle, yet you shamelessly tried to climb into my bed." He turned to the housekeeper. "Bring the whip. I'll deal with her according to family rules." The entire room fell silent. The housekeeper, Louis, who had always doted on Sophia like his own daughter, hesitated, face pale with disbelief. "Sir Herbert," he said gently, "Sophia was just confused. She made a mistake. Just reprimand her. There's no need to resort to the family law." He gave Sophia a meaningful look, urging her silently to apologize. Sophia knew exactly what family law meant. 100 lashes, from head to toe, without mercy. This brutal punishment hadn't been used in over a decade. Louis once told her it was last enforced when Herbert's father was caught cheating on his wife. But Sophia couldn't understand. Why was Herbert this angry? Hadn't everyone seen how close they were all these years? Did he truly feel nothing for her? She wasn't ready to believe that. She wanted to gamble just once on whether he would really punish her like this for another woman. But Herbert didn't hesitate. He stood firm, shielding Kelsey behind him like she was priceless. "Bring the whip," he ordered again, this time with a chilling resolve. Uncle Louis immediately stepped in front of Sophia. "Run, Sophia," he whispered urgently. But before she could escape, Kelsey intercepted her. "Sophia, you're absolutely shameless." Her voice was cold, condescending. "You knew how much Herbert hates taboo relationships, yet you still tried to seduce him. And now you want to run? Do you think you can walk away from the Winter family like nothing happened?" Sophia stared at Kelsey's flawless face. In this house, Kelsey had no right to speak out like this. The next second, Sophia slapped her hard. "You know damn well this is the Winter family. And you think you have the right to interfere?" When Kelsey screamed, Herbert flinched as if the sound had pierced his nerves. He turned toward Sophia, voice sharp and thunderous. "Sophia, you're out of control. Kelsey has taken care of me for years. Apologize to her. Now." Kelsey staggered forward, still clutching her cheek, her sobs low and pitiful as she leaned against Herbert like a wronged heroine. Sophia's eyes narrowed, her voice calm, but laced with contempt. "Uncle, you know my temper better than anyone. I don't apologize to people with hidden agendas." Uncle Louis cast Sophia a helpless look, silently urging her to back down. But Sophia stood her ground. Herbert had said it himself once. She was like a little hedgehog, always bristling, always defensive. No one knew her better than he did. But now, he was shielding someone else. An outsider. Without hesitation, Herbert reached for the whip himself. His voice was ice. "Come here, Sophia." She didn't move. She stood stiff and proud, though her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. Her last name wasn't Winter. There was no blood tie between them, only a title, and years of loyalty she could no longer recognize. From childhood, she had trusted his every word. Even staying behind in Westbridge after the college entrance exam had been because of him. "Herbert, I stayed for 5 years. For you. What did I get in return?" Herbert, blind but sure, stepped forward, guided by instinct and rage. Uncle Louis panicked and tried to push Sophia aside. "Go, Sophia, quickly." But she refused to move. She wanted to know, would Herbert really strike her? The whip sliced through the air. Sophia dodged instinctively, stepping back but not fast enough. The lash grazed her cheek, a savage cut tearing open her skin. Blood welled up instantly and slid down her jaw, dripping to the floor. Uncle Louis gasped. "What a sin." Sophia's face. Yes. Who said her fate with Herbert wasn't doomed from the start? Sophia clutched her bleeding face, her heart splitting wider than the wound. And in that moment, she called him uncle one final time. The man whose whip ended everything between them. At the hospital, Sophia sat silently in the back seat, pressing gauze to her cheek. Her hand trembled as she dialed a number overseas. Tears brimmed in her eyes. "My face is ruined." A concerned voice came through. What happened? Is it serious? It's nothing I can't handle, Sophia replied quietly, but I don't want the space anymore. There was a pause. What do you mean? I want to disappear. Plastic surgery. Cancel my domestic ID. Change everything. I want a new life. The silence on the other end grew heavier. Then, her friend exhaled slowly. There's something you should consider. Herbert's surgery went well, right? He's supposed to regain his sight in 10 days. Are you sure you want to leave now? Yes, Sophia said without hesitation. I've made up my mind. I figured. Once you decide something, no one can stop you. A weak laugh escaped Sophia's lips. Yes, just like when she chose to live with Herbert over every other uncle. And for a time it had felt like he truly loved her. Their bond had once crossed the fragile boundary of family. She believed, naively, that when he regained his sight, they would finally stand side by side in the light. But fate had other plans. That's fine. She would carve out her own future even if it meant burning the past to ash. After the call ended, the stitches were finished. Sophia stared into the mirror. A jagged scar now marred her left cheek, angry, raw, unforgettable. But it didn't matter. She would leave this space behind. Leave this pain behind. Back home, still groggy from painkillers, Sophia paused at the base of the stairs. A sound drifted down from above, soft, breathy, unmistakably intimate. Her heart stopped. She looked up and froze. At the top of the staircase, the very one she had walked 1,000 times toward Herbert's room, he stood there, locked in a kiss with Kelsey, as if she had never existed at all. Sophia said nothing. She quietly raised her phone and snapped a photo. The sound of the shutter was crisp, cutting through the stillness like a blade. Kelsey spun around, face draining of color. Herbert turned too, eyes narrowing. Sophia, why are you taking pictures of me? Kelsey shouted, her voice shrill. Herbert immediately stiffened, his voice cold. Delete the photo, now. Sophia gave a soft laugh, full of mockery. Oh? You two can kiss in the open, but I can't take a picture? You. Herbert's face twisted with fury. I don't know what game you're playing, but don't spread it. Kelsey is still a student. Don't humiliate her like this. The word struck Sophia harder than the whip days ago. I humiliated her? Her voice trembled. Uncle, you left a scar on my face. 8 stitches. Did you already forget? Kelsey stepped forward with her usual act, gentle, considerate. Herbert, this is between me and Sophia. Let us handle it. Don't get involved. Herbert hesitated, then nodded, completely fooled. He turned to Sophia, face tightening. From now on, resolve things calmly. Remember, I'm your uncle. Stop acting like you own me. With that, he walked away and closed the door behind him. Sophia stood frozen. Kelsey's expression instantly shifted. Gone was the gentle front now, her eyes gleamed with contempt. You want to use that photo to scare me away? She scoffed. Go ahead. It won't work. Herbert likes me now. You're just a bitter leftover. Sophia stared at her, jaw tightening. You know, she said slowly, I could have driven you out of this house in countless ways before, but now, I don't care enough to. I took that photo to show your boyfriend at school what kind of woman you really are. Kelsey's smile faltered. Yes, Sophia had already discovered the truth. Kelsey had a boyfriend at university. They'd been together for over a year. While she pretended to be a devoted caretaker here, she was playing house with someone else back on campus. Sophia's gaze turned icy. You think you've won just because he's blind, but trash like you never lasts. Kelsey's lips quivered. Sophia expected her to panic, to beg, maybe even confess. Instead, Kelsey suddenly slapped herself hard. The sound echoed. Then came the tears, perfectly timed. Herbert. Sophia hit me again. Come out, please. Before Sophia could react, the door burst open. Herbert stormed out, guided by rage. I warned you, Sophia, he roared. Stop your madness. Without a pause, he raised his hand and slapped her. The impact landed right across her stitched cheek. Something tore. Blood burst from the reopened wound and streamed down her jaw. Sophia gasped, stumbling to the floor, clutching her face in agony. Her voice trembled, a whisper barely audible over the blood pounding in her ears. Uncle, how could you? But he didn't see her. He was already turning away toward Kelsey. And Kelsey, in one final act, threw herself backward and tumbled down the stairs. No, Sophia cried out, but it was too late. Herbert panicked, tossing aside his cane to rush after her. Call an ambulance, he shouted at the housekeeper, completely forgetting Sophia, bleeding, shaking, broken on the floor. She sat in silence. Don't cry, Sophia. Uncle will blow on it. It won't hurt anymore. The memory came unbidden, a long-lost echo from a kinder time. But it was just that, memory. She stared after Herbert's retreating back, eyes burning with unshed tears. Then she pulled out her phone, calmly dialed 120, and pressed it to her ear. Sophia, this is your last fall for him, she told herself. After this, he no longer matters.